Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Glory Reds podcast. It's your boy, Don Benito. And today, as always, we're going to be talking about Manchester news. And what are we going to be talking about today? We are going to be talking about Kobbie Mainoo contract talks. I know I keep on talking about Kobbie, but we need to discuss this. There's something very sinister happening with Kobbie Mainoo in that regard. We're going to be discussing that. And then we're going to be discussing the Tyler Dibbling. We discussed about him yesterday that he's a $100 million attacking midfielder from Southampton that Manchester United and most of the Premier League teams are looking at. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about what Paul Parker was when he ripped into Garnacho for no reason, which is a very strange one. And then we're going to be talking about Francisco Trincao. Francisco Trincao, you would know, plays for Portugal and also plays for Sporting Lisbon. But there's a little story behind it that maybe Ruben Amorims is looking into signing him. I personally, once upon a time, would have loved to see Trincao at Manchester United. But we'll discuss why maybe this, I think, could be bullshit or might not happen. Let's jump right into it. All right, guys. This Kobbie Mainoo situation we need to talk about, because as Manchester United fans, we need to understand that the way Kobbie Mainoo is being talked about at the moment is very, I personally think it's dodgy. And I say for why. I say it's dodgy because, number one, there is a very strong possibility that the fans could turn on Kobbie Mainoo. That is something that we do not want. Number two, this story of Kobbie Mainoo wanting to leave and blah, blah, blah is going to split the fan base in general, because there are going to be some that are going to be like, listen, we understand, but we are cool with letting Kobbie Mainoo go. And then there's going to be fans like me or you that thinks, nah, why the hell should we get rid of our best players? One of the best academy products to walk out of Carrington. Why should we always be the club that gets rid of? Right? That's the situation that we find ourselves in with Kobbie Mainoo. Now, the story is that they have not reached an agreement, which I probably understand. Because if you look at Kobbie Mainoo at the moment earns about £20,000 a week. Now, for the player that Kobbie Mainoo has become, that is almost an insult. He has represented England in the Euros, practically played most of the games. He burst into the scene. He's been doing the business. Now, the only thing that I can say with Kobbie Mainoo is that Kobbie Mainoo is suffering from what I call young player fragile body. When a young player just graduates from the academy, right? If they're exceptionally good, they're just going to be thrust into the team and they're going to be playing major games. And if they hold their own, they're going to keep on being picked. That's just the nature of the beast. If you're good, if you're old enough, you're good enough. You understand? Kobbie Mainoo was old enough and good enough, so he played. Now, his fragile body obviously took a hit. When I say took a hit, I'm saying if we overplay these players, these sort of injuries that come after a big tournament, because the Euros was not so long ago, right? Came back, he wasn't really good. So it happens. And I'll give you an example of a player where I've seen this thing happen. He's not the first one. I've seen it with Ansu Fati. I'm a supporter of the Blaugrana. So I've seen Ansu Fati, a player that breaks in playing games, gets injured, is never the same again. Pedri, thank God he's sort of like, I don't want to say he has figured it out, but he has fought through the most difficult part of his injuries, because Pedri, when he first broke into the scene, I think he played 75 games or 80 something games straight. He played he represented Spain in the senior level, the younger level. He went to Olympics. He played La Liga. He played so many games. You look at the old pictures of Pedri. He looked knackered, and then he was even given um, an extension to enjoy his holiday because he had played so much football. So that's what happens to these young players when they play multiple games, like especially when you're playing in a very high intensity league, like the Premier League. So it's normal for it to happen. But Kobe Mainoo has established himself as a senior player, as a player that is reliable, as a player that you can call upon and he will do the business. In Erik ten Hag's position and in Erik ten Hag's words, he said that Kobe Mainoo is just like a dream midfielder. He's a very special midfielder. Ruben Amoriim, in his system, he has played Kobe Mainoo in multiple positions. Now, for some, they'll think that Kobe Mainoo doesn't fit the system. That's why they think that he should leave. Because now, where are we going to play him? If we play him in that number 10 position, where is Bruno going to play and where is Xerxes going to play? If we play him in that double pivot, where is Ugarte or whatever? Like, I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, think he just works well in that double pivot. I don't know why Kobe Mainoo has these tendencies of showing that he's more of an attacking midfielder than a defensive midfielder because his defensive duties sometimes lack, and which is why I understand Ruben Amoriim dropped him because he needs to focus on his defensive attributes as a midfielder, and which is why he tried to deploy him in those other positions in that final third against Crystal Palace. He put Kobe Mainoo in that number 10 position to relieve some defensive burdens on Kobe Mainoo. And it worked, it didn't work, it's your own decision because we're not going to sit here and start comparing. But Kobe Mainoo somehow at this stage has not been able to settle under Ruben Amoriim. You could easily say that. And with these talks of him not agreeing a contract or a deal with the club, it's scary times. It's scary times. I'm worried. I won't lie to you. I am worried. Worried in the sense that Kobe Mainoo will leave, and let's just say he will go to Chelsea. Chelsea are the team that are actually looking for this guy. And I wouldn't put it past Real Madrid as well. Because Real Madrid are very sneaky with these kind of things. Already now they're going to sign Trent, and then there's this the Spanish defender from Bournemouth, Hoyland, whatever, that boy. They're about to sign him. They're talking about him. He's very young, very good. They're going to snatch him. So Kobe Mainoo fits into, even Barcelona can go take Kobe Mainoo because he fits their style of play. He fits that thing. Now, why are we going to be that club that gets rid of one of our best prospects in the club? This, to me, is going to be another Mason Greenwood situation. And you guys know how I felt about that Mason Greenwood situation. I still, to this day, do not understand why Mason Greenwood has not been forgiven by the Manchester United fans, has not been forgiven by the Manchester United community. And welcome back. Like, bro, this guy will change our game. Now, this story is, we're not talking about Mason Greenwood. I'm just trying to emphasize a point. Mason Greenwood is the creme de la creme. And right now, he's having a little bit of a patchy time in Marseille. De Zerbi is saying that he needs to work hard. I don't know. Maybe he might look to leave. I don't know. We have sold him. Do we have some sort of buyback clause? Do we have some sort of percentage on his sale, on his transfer deal? Like, what's the story with Mason Greenwood? Now, look, I'm going. So Kobe Mainoo, this situation is very serious. And it's serious if you want Kobe Mainoo to stay at Manchester United. Now, I am skeptical. I know a lot of people think that this might happen, but I'm skeptical. From the first moment, the first day, a couple of weeks ago, when I saw the story about Kobe Mainoo refusing to sign a deal, I was worried because I wouldn't put it past these United players to do anything. These players can shock you. They can absolutely shock you with their nonsense. So I was surprised, but I was like, whoa, this is heavy. And then the story kind of like fizzled out and then came back and then fizzled out. Now it's back. There is no smoke without fire, or there's no fire without smoke. One of the two. Something is afoot with this Kobe Mainoo situation. And if Kobe Mainoo leaves, that means we need to replace. Who is the midfielder that we're thinking about? Who is the midfield? Because we, the fans, don't know. We are just taking it from the club and looking at you guys. Next thing we're going to hear a transfer guru say Manchester United are in for this guy. Manchester United, not the club. We never get info from the club. All the things you guys, the club gives us are, nah, we're sick and tired of the fans, complaining, increasing the prices. That's all we get from the club. Nothing about transfers, nothing about what's going on. And that making me worried for next season. In fact, for the season to come. So, my conclusion to this Kobe Mainoo situation is, I think Manchester United are in negotiations with Kobe Mainoo. This thing of them trying to say that Kobe Mainoo is refusing to sign is a ploy. It is a tactic. So that when the time comes, when they give Kobe Mainoo the actual contract that they think he deserves, and he actually turns it down, they are going to be like, hey, we didn't do anything. Kobe Mainoo, we offered him just almost like Pogba. Remember the Pogba situation? Pogba, just before he left, I think it was 2018, he even did it in his Pogmentary, where he talked about that comment that he passed where he was talking about, when you want a girl, you need to push and work hard to get the girl. You need to give everything to the girl. It's similar. It turns out that Paul Pogba during that time was offered a lucrative deal. Manchester United offered him, I think it was 380 or 360, somewhere along those lines, or 400. Pogba cannot sit here and say that we didn't take care of him. He was offered that deal and he turned it down because of the drama that was happening. He turned it down. He wanted to be out. So this kind of feels like it. Now, I'm not saying that Kobe Mainoo is going to be like Pogba, but I feel like they're going to paint it like that. I don't know if that makes any sense. Anyway, moving forward. Tyler Dibbling. Dibbling. Spoke about him yesterday. I said, listen, I don't think this deal is going to happen. I still do not believe this deal is going to happen. But Southampton have slept 100M on his price tag. They think he's like he's like the second coming, the best thing that has ever happened to English football. Which, I mean, it's an overstatement, but the kid is good. The player is very, very good. But he's too expensive. Too expensive. Now, we're going to be... When you read the story, it's like Ruben Amorims is looking for what? That's nonsense. Excuse me. That is absolute nonsense. When did Ruben Amorims get used to Tyler Dibbling? When was this now? When did it become a thing where Ruben Amorims is thinking, I want to sign Tyler Dibbling. Oh, this boy is so good. 100 million. I want to bring him in. Nah, I do not believe so. And with the current situation at Manchester United, I'm pretty sure the gaffer is thinking to himself as well, like, how am I going to afford? I don't even know what my transfer budget is going to be for the summer. What if my transfer budget is 100 million? Like, how are you going to move around that kind of situation? So this Tyler Dibbling situation, I'm going to take it with a pinch of salt. If Manchester United go ahead and go for him, I'll be very surprised. For one, I'll be surprised for the money. Where is this money coming? Where are you guys storing this 100 million to buy this 18, 19-year-old that has not yet proved himself, that has not yet won anything major? Where are you getting this 100 million to splash on this kid and hope that he brings us the magic? Where are you getting this money? And number two, we bring him in, who's going out and who is he trying to bench at Manchester United? Those are the questions that I keep asking myself about. Like, I get it, but Tyler Dibbling, and the fact that there's so many guys like Arsenal, Tottenham, like there's so many players that want this boy. When I say players, I mean teams. There's so many people in this thing. And Manchester United, we don't do well when there's so many guys going in for the same player. We usually fumble those balls. So that's a very tricky one for me as well. So the Tyler Dibbling one, like I said, put your take it with a pinch of salt, put a put a star next to his name, and let's just wait and see how that story develops. And then there is a very interesting article that I also came across when it was talking about Marcus Rashford. It was saying that Aston Villa may have made their stance clear on Rashford. But when you read the article, you don't really get that sense. You just get the sense that they are praising him. They are praising Unai for being a very good manager and being a manager that brings the best out of certain players that have lost form, or that sort of thing. And then they talked about how he's improving and how he's happy and how they want to help him. But I don't understand if that is a stance. You know, I was when I was reading the article, I was expecting to hear things like Unai Emery has already made it has already given the thumbs up that we should sign Rashford and all the works and everything is set, and like we don't want to be thinking about Marcus Rashford in the coming summer. And here's the funny thing. I have this very strange feeling that he might come back to Manchester United. The way things are so slow at Manchester United, quiet. Don't be surprised if you see even Tyrell Malacia come back. Don't be surprised. Because these are the things that you just ask yourself, but we're trying to get rid of this player. Why is he coming back? But because the stories are not clear, it is very, very difficult to formulate an opinion or come up with some sort of, because these guys are just, so that's also another situation. Then, this is the last topic that I wanted to talk about before I leave. Francisco Trincao. Now, I read this and I kept thinking to myself, wow, this is another player. Né? This is another player that I fantasized about at the time when we needed wingers. And I think there was, I wanted Francisco Trincao right around the same time I think we wanted Bruno Fernandes, or maybe a season after we got Bruno. He was tearing it up in the Portuguese league. He's a very unique winger. And when I say unique, you need to watch in order to see. Now, part of being a Barcelona fan, he was at Barcelona. He was somebody that I watched. He was good. He did his thing. Didn't really work out. Left, went to Sporting Lisbon. Then Then he went on loan to Wolves. And at Wolves, he didn't particularly do well, which is another worry for me. Which is why I'm thinking that this story could be dodgy. He went to Wolves, didn't really, he scored some couple of goals, maybe 1 or 2, maybe even 3 or 4. But he disappeared from there. Now it has emerged that we are in for him again. But his deal is going to be very, very, very tricky. And I will explain why. However, I need to mention that this player is good, is unique, might be already of age, and I wonder why Manchester United are looking into this deal. Why they keep putting Ruben Amorims as the man that wants this. I get they're trying to sell articles and stuff, but this constant putting the name of the gaffer in front of a deal and stuff makes the gaffer look bad, in the sense that we will look at the players and also be like, yo, but gaffer, why do you want this player? Like, we will start questioning what the gaffer is trying to bring in and all these things, and we don't want to do that. We've given Ruben Amorims the full support, the full backing. We want him to do well. Now, we would like you guys to give him the players that he wants. Obviously, he has got no veto. We understand that. You guys are the ones that go out there, scout, and pick the players. But please, ask him if this player is somebody that he would love. Give him the details. I don't think we do this at Manchester United. I think it's just one of those things like, because you heard Sir Jim Ratcliffe when he was talking about Eric Ten Hag, when he busted the myth that Erik ten Hag signed all these players. It's like, no, he was part of the conversation. He was part of the conversation, but the ultimate decision came to Sir Jim, Berrada, Wilcox, and Brailsworth. That's it. They're the ones that said, we'll get this player, we'll get this player, we'll get this player. The manager had no say. So now everything now that's happening is like, oh, Ruben Amoriim wants this, Ruben. I don't believe it. Which is why I like the story. I enjoyed it because I was like, oh my God, Trincao, if he was to come to United, oh, he'll be a very nice wing. He'll be that winger that takes us out of binds, out of little situations that be like, this situation needs a Trincao in the wing just to do the business, So the Trincao situation is very tricky. Like I said, he was from Barcelona. Barcelona are a giant of a team. I'm sure you guys know that. And part of being a giant of the team is making sure that your assets and whatever are taken care of. And Trincao is one of Barcelona's assets. Barcelona held up 50% of his transfer rights. So Sporting, whatever deal Sporting Lisbon is going to come up with either Manchester United or whoever it is that wants him, Barcelona get 50% of that deal. Yeah, that's some good shrewd business, yeah. And Sporting Lisbon are thinking to get about 35 million for Trincao. Now you see, 35 Hades. I don't see this is happen. I don't see this happening. Trincao is how old? 26, 27? Our philosophy, the club's guidelines is at 25 and below. If you're signing a player, is 25. If he's above 25, then I'm assuming there has to be special circumstances. 35 million for Trincao, somebody who's over the 25 limit, I think is expensive. In fact, this is the price tag that we should have bought Anthony with. This. Not the 70, not the 80 that we bought. No, this. This is the right amount. And in fact, I think for Trincao, it should be 30, not 35. This 5 million is too much. 30, 25 and 30. That is it. Because he is not yet. Yes, for Sporting he has done the business, but we know in the Premier League he struggled a little bit. So are we going to bring somebody who has had 18 goal involvements in all competitions for Sporting Lisbon this season, come to the Prem and then do what? No. So in as much as I like Trincao and love watching him play football, I just don't think this deal is the one for us. And I don't believe that Ruben Amoriim wants him, regardless of what Trincao did this weekend. Because this past weekend, Trincao came off the bench and just did the business for Portugal. Scored beautiful goals. And he was playing on the right. It was like, wow. And I remember watching that game and thinking, man, I remember when I wanted you. Then this story comes up that we are in for United, like for Trincao. I don't know. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed because he's a good option. I just don't think it's the right option for us. I mean, where we want to go. Trincao being 27, 3 years time, we're going to have to release him or get rid of him. Nah. I think we should just stick to our guns. In fact, I think a lot of players are coming back. I think Anthony's coming back. Marcus Rashford, I told you, put a question mark there. Terrell Malacia, I'm not too sure. They said that they didn't really specify whether those guys have got a buyer option or not. If they do, cool, he might be going. But I think he might stay. And then we get all these injured players that were injured back fit. We've got Mason Mount, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Kobe Mainoo, Manu Ugarte. We've got players coming back, bro. So it's going to be a very exciting time. I am looking forward to this next half of the season. Like this, after this international break, I'm really looking forward to football. Because, I look at the teams, I look at the players, I look at people that are coming back from injury. I'm thinking bye-bye to that very young bench that we used to have for the past, what, three game weeks we had? 2-3 games? We had like youngsters just fill up our bench. That's done. That's done. At least now we're going to have some guys coming in there to really bolster the team. And I'm really looking forward to that. And I hope there's going to be a turnaround. I still believe that we're going to make it into the top half of the league. I know some people have written us off, but I do believe it. I do believe Manchester United is going to get into that top 10. It's a weird one, but we will. And then we will take it from there. And then the Europa League, you know, the fact that Obi Martin is not part of the squad, I'm a little bit skeptical because at the same time, I don't really trust Rasmus Højlund. I know he scored in the weekend, and I know I'm supposed to be praising him, but again, I'm not trusting. And then I saw something that was very weird. And I don't know if I brought this up in one of our videos. During the Portugal game, Rasmus Højlund was strapped. Did you see that? I don't know if that is a problem, if he picked up an injury or what. And now it explains what I was talking about. That little weird thing that goes on with Rasmus Højlund. That when he starts scoring, he gets injured. When he's not scoring, he stays fit. It's the strangest thing in the world. It's so strange. When I saw them strapping him up, like when I saw him wrapped up, I thought, this is nonsense. I can't. You just started scoring. We need a number 9. Now you're injured. Like, this is the thing that kind of like just vexes me, and I just don't know what to do about that. So you guys will just... I'm not mad at Rasmus Højlund, by the way. I'm not. I'm just frustrated. Because it's like, what are we going to do? Chido Obi can only do as much as what? Premier League? That's it. Those are the only 2 fronts that we're fighting in right now. Premier League and FA Cup. I mean, Premier League and Europa League. He can't play in one competition. And then, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know why I was mumbling on that last part. But yes, this is the situation that we find ourselves in. So if, for example, if we were to sign Trincao, right? This is also the other bit that I almost forgot to mention. So because of that 50% sell-on fee that Sporting Lisbon have on Trincao, should Manchester United want to buy this player, it might just double up his fees and might find ourselves in a situation where we're paying a lot more money for this player. And I just don't think this deal will happen. I don't think it's a good deal because Manchester United, yeah, I mean, it's a good deal in the sense that nobody's looking at Trincao. Nobody's going out there searching for Trincao. You know, Manchester United, we do well. We do well with deals where we are not challenged by anybody. You know, it has been like that before Ineos. It's like that with Ineos. I hope it won't be like that moving forward after Ineos if they're going to stay. But this is the situation that we find ourselves in. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Glory Reds podcast. It's your boy, Don Benito. Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check us on Spotify. We are back on Spotify and all the other podcast streaming platforms. Please check us out. We are there. Please smash a like, drop a comment. Peace.